This is my last hour as a 17-year-old. Which is really crazy to think about. Hold on, let me just... I started this... No, I don't like that. I started this at 10:59. I don't have a way to show you, but you gotta trust. 18 is such a different year. I feel like it's gonna be interesting, but in a good way, I hope. So I wrote 18, ironically, things that I'm going to remind myself of when I turn 19 in a year from now. So this video is purely for myself. If you watch it, I don't care, but it's kind of like a documentation, you could say. Starting with number 1. It sounds very cliche and very corny, but it is okay to fail. What matters is if you get back up. I have personally failed multiple times, and I hope that within this next coming year, I fail a lot more, because that lets me know that I'm learning. Because if I don't fail, then I don't learn. And I may not like certain knowledge, but I don't mind learning. I don't mind it. It's pretty nice. And a lot of people think that when you fail, it's a sign to stop pursuing what it is you were pursuing. And I feel like most times it's a sign that you're actually going the right direction. You're just doing it the wrong way, if that makes sense. Number 2, burnout is normal, but not the end. See how those kind of like fit together? You will experience burnout, without a doubt, 100%. I know I'm going to. Whether it's in your passions or in, I don't even know, in your working out, which could be a passion of yours. Hopefully it is. Health is important. Everybody. But burnout does not mean that you lost the passion. It just means, in my opinion, that your body's just exhausted from it. You can be exhausted but not lose the passion, if that makes sense. Number 3. Missing the good times with them only means you're forgetting the hurt they caused. Take that as you will, but a lot of times, whenever you, quote, reminisce, you only remember the good times with said person. And unless you actually sit down to think about it, you tend to forget either the hurt they caused or all the bad times you had with them, and the reason that they're not in your life anymore. And you just remember, oh, we did this, and oh, we did that, and it was great. It was such a great time. You're only remembering the feeling that you had during those good times and not the feeling that you had during those bad times because you try to forget them. And that's something that you gotta remember, which is hard sometimes, but it's necessary to move on, so to speak. Number 4, God is speaking. You're just being too loud. Oh my gosh, bro. You gotta shut up sometimes. Like, future me, learn to shut up sometimes. Especially whenever you're trying to listen for God, but then you keep on yapping or you keep distracting yourself and you just... What are you doing? Listen for Him. Quiet down. Number 5. Find your why in what you love. Your passions. Find your why in your passions. Or else you will burn out very quickly. Like, for example, my videos. I made a decent amount of videos throughout the summer of 2025, and I was like, oh, we gotta keep this going. My why during the summer was because it would be cool to document. But then after the summer, I didn't have anything to document, so I burnt out, and I was like, what do I do? And now I haven't uploaded in forever. So hopefully by the end of 2026, I've found my why and I am posting more videos. Number 6, the real ones support you when you go through changes, but also tell you the truth when it's destructive for you. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but you gotta find the real ones, bro. You're not gonna make it through this life if you're only surrounded by people who aren't the real ones, who aren't the ones who tell you, yeah, you screwed up or you're screwing up. The ones who constantly support you when you're doing well and then leave you when you're in a rut are not real ones. They're not the real ones, bro. You gotta leave them. 7, just because you love them doesn't mean their opinion is right. I wish I put this into account a lot because I have listened and taken people's opinions of the people that I love, I've taken their opinions as fact. And that has either ended up destroying me or I've said the wrong thing to the wrong person and it ends up poorly. So if you ever take the person that you love's opinion, take it as a fact, don't. Fact check it first. Put your own opinion before someone else's. Now, you can put it together and listen to their opinion. I'm not saying just blow them off and don't listen to them at all. Take their opinion into account. Just don't take it as a fact. Number 8, if they aren't what you want to be like, their quote, advice is void and unimportant. This goes with the last one. The advice someone gives you is important, but it's not important if what they are like is not what you want to be like in life. Now, I'm not saying cut them off entirely and don't listen to their advice at all, because sometimes someone who you want to be like in life, sometimes the advice they give is from somewhere where they're at that you do want to be like. Maybe don't take financial advice from a homeless guy, but maybe he has good advice on something else. Maybe he has good advice on what not to buy or what not to get into. That's advice that you should take. If the homeless guy is where you want to be at in life in some certain aspect, I don't know. Number 9, there's this reel that I saw the other day, and it was from some movie, and it was like 75 summers, 75 winters, 75 birthdays, that's all you got. And I just recently looked up the average lifespan of the human, or the lifespan of the average human, and it was 73 years. That's 73 summers, 73 winters, 73 birthdays. That's not a lot of time. And I've already cut off 18 from that, which is like, what, 55 left? Yeah, like 55 summers, 55 winters, 55 birthdays. That's not a lot of time left. Cherish every moment, because you don't got a lot of moments left in ya. Number 10, this is a quote. Embarrassment is an unexplored emotion. Go out there and make a fool of yourself. I don't think people embarrass themselves enough lately. We just cower in the corner and say, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good." I'm guilty of that too. I'm not saying I'm not guilty of that. I've got a lot of things I gotta work on. Embarrassing yourself is so funny because you end up doing the thing that you get embarrassed about sometimes, and you forget about it like 2 weeks later, not even, probably the next morning, unless someone brings it up. It's not important. You don't gotta worry about it. Number 11, you can lose everything you thought you deserved in an instant, so cherish every moment. This kind of goes with the 73 summers thing, but you genuinely can be walking down the road and get a call and realize that your whole family is dead. I don't know what to tell you. Like Job. Job was just chilling. Like in Job, it gives you some context that the devil spoke to God, and he went up and he challenged God's authority pretty much, and God gave him the authority to affect Job's life, and mainly for the first time the things around him. Job didn't know that. Job was just chilling in his house, and all of a sudden a servant comes knocking at his door, and he says, "Hey, by the way, all your livestock and family is dead. I'm the only one who survived." Bro was just chilling. He had no idea. We got context. Job didn't. Maybe Job eventually got context when he was in heaven after he died. But he had genuinely no clue. He had zero idea. Number 12. If it feels like a job, it's not a passion. Now, when I say this, don't take this backwards. Whenever someone's like, oh, well, if it's your passion, then it won't feel like a job. Yes, you can have a job that is your passion, and it won't feel like a job. But you can also have a passion that's not your job, and it feels like a job. You can try and do that same passion every single time, and it just feels like work. It doesn't feel like you don't get any joy out of it anymore. That kind of goes with burning out, but it's not that you're burnt out, is that every time you do it, you just get exhausted and you hate doing it. It feels like a job. So, if it feels like a job, is it really a passion? Or are you just forcing yourself to do that thing? Are you forcing yourself because you think it would be cool? Because it'll make you a lot of money? I don't know. I don't know what that passion is for you. Number 13. Start using the screw it mentality. Goes with embarrassment. Ring ring. Bro calls you up. Hey, you want to go finger painting in Alaska next week? Screw it. Why not? Like, screw it. Go do the thing. Collect experiences. Get the lore. Get the dad lore, bro. Go do things. Go enjoy your life. You only have 73 summers, 73 winters, 73 birthdays. 18 of those are spent living in the same house, probably. Living with the same people, probably. You gotta collect experiences. Go do things. Number 14. Self-destruction before self-rebuilding. There's this quote in Fight Club that says, self-improvement is masturbation. Which, basically, what it's saying is, self-improvement, the whole ideology behind it, is where you're improving yourself every day. And it's a feel-good mentality, and it's supposed to better yourself and give you, I don't even know, like, give you a boost to dopamine or something every time you improve yourself. That won't get you anywhere. It's a facade they sell. I say they, I don't know who they are. The people who push self-improvement. What you really need to work on is self-destruction. And what I mean by that is you need to work on destroying the bad habits before you start adding on new good habits. You need to destroy the bad parts of yourself before you can rebuild yourself into the person you aspire to be. And whenever you have 0 bad habits to begin with, it's so much easier to rebuild yourself because you're not having to worry about any obstacles in the way. You're starting from 0. 15. Do not rush. Take in the moment. Be in the moment. Live in the moment. Enjoy the moment. You only have that moment once. You can't get that same exact feeling you had ever again. So be in that moment. Kind of like watching La La Land for the first time. Dude, that movie. Or Ratatouille, bro. Oh my gosh. I'll never get those feelings back. I'll never be able to watch those for the first time again. So you need to, any new experience you get, you need to be in the moment and enjoy it. No, I'm not saying don't document it, because number 16, journal/document, journal and or document. Journal being write about what happened afterwards and the feelings that memory gave you. And anytime you look back and read it, those feelings might come back. Typically they do for me whenever I read something about me losing someone in my life, or me, I don't know, accomplishing something. I get that feeling of happiness or sadness, because you start to remember those things, and whenever you write it down in detail, you can remember it vividly. Or you start documenting. Start carrying a camera. You got one in your pocket. It's pretty simple. It doesn't have to be for other people's enjoyment either. It can be for just your enjoyment. It can be for other people's enjoyment. It doesn't have to be, though. Like, you don't have to post it publicly. There's a thing called the private setting on YouTube. It's pretty nice. Just saying. Number 17. Get your life together. What are you doing? Lock in, bro. Lock in. Lock in. But seriously, stop procrastinating. There is a difference between collecting experiences and procrastination. I'm not saying you have to wake up at 5:30 every single day, cold plunge and everything, although those are great and you can do those. I'm not saying you have to. But you shouldn't be spending 7 hours on TikTok or Reels. You should not be doing that, bro. You gotta lock in. And if you don't have something, to look forward to each day, like a passion, then you gotta find one. You gotta find one. It'll keep your life in balance. It doesn't matter what it is. Something that's not chronic doom scrolling, preferably. Last one, 18. Nobody cares. This goes with the embarrassment, collect experiences, all that. No one cares. Anything you do, nobody's gonna remember it. I promise you. In 60 years, if somebody brings that up to you and you remember it, you're probably not gonna feel the same way you did in the moment, though. You're probably gonna look back and laugh. Go in the middle of a beach dock and start singing like Merry Christmas or something. I don't know. Bro, just collect experiences and do things that embarrass you because nobody cares. And with that, nobody cares about your lock-in phase. Nobody cares about your self-destruction or self-rebuilding. Maybe except for you. Nobody cares, and if someone says they do, they don't care as much as you do about this. So you need to value the fact that you care more about yourself than others do. And you need to, if you don't care about yourself more than other people do, then you gotta take that up with the big man up there, because that's a whole nother topic. Nobody cares as much as you do, though, about your passions, about the work you put in. So with that, you don't need to share every little detail expecting them to care as much as you do, because you know they won't. You have to understand they won't. It's just something they can't do. With that, that is my rant. This is for me when I turn 19 again. If you stuck to the end of the video, you're pretty cool. You earned it. You earned the pretty cool badge. You're pretty cool. You aren't, I don't know how to put this into words. You aren't as bad as you play yourself off to be, if that makes sense. This is just an extra bonus thing. I'm kind of ranting here. Again, with the nobody cares thing, because you care so much, you're also going to criticize yourself so much. You're going to judge yourself more than the other person. At least you should. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. But there's a difference between judging yourself more than the next person and judging yourself too much. You gotta give yourself some credit. I know an artist's worst critic is himself, or however the saying goes. I know that, but you gotta give yourself some credit. At least you made a painting in the first place. Unlike most people suck at painting. That's something, at least. You can lock in and be optimistic at the same time. This wasn't a video for you to begin with, but hopefully you learned something from it. Hopefully I shared a little bit of insight or gave you good reminders or whatever. Just remember that God loves you and you're a pretty cool person. To my 19-year-old self, this is still technically 17-year-old self, because it's 11:28 p.m. on December 16th, 2025. Hopefully, by the end of 2026, you will have accomplished everything you aspired to accomplish. You got that job you wanted, or that career you started and it's successful. Maybe not even within the first year, maybe you just started it at least. Hopefully you're still with your girlfriend. Hopefully you're still making enough money to pay rent, car insurance, all the works. Hopefully you've learned to live in the moment, and hopefully you've learned to collect experiences as well. Because you've only got 55 birthdays left. Don't waste them. Not even just birthdays, don't waste your years. Gotta lock in starting tomorrow morning. Even though it's late. Anywho. Sincerely, me.